guarantee you, it's probably the film you make right now. If it's your first time, it's going to be shit. It's going to be awful. And I'm not saying that to discourage you. I'm saying get it out of your system. Get the bad stuff out of your system now, right? Don't let it discourage you, right? Dinesh knows what I'm talking about.
Make your 10 back.
Yeah, make your 10 bad films right now, because this is the time to do it, man. But here's the thing, you have everything at your disposal. You have free editing tools. You have this that doesn't require you buying film. It's never been cheaper to make a real movie than right now. So do it. Just do it. I gotta watch my language. I get in trouble with YouTube all the time for my language. Yes, absolutely.
I was going to say there was a film several years ago, a small film, you may have heard of it, called Following, by an unknown guy named Christopher Nolan, who used to do, he didn't even do commercials, he did industrial films, and then he shot this for like a year, and he was the cinematographer. And I think it was 64 minutes long, with credits, and you've probably seen that criteria. But I remember friends saw it in San Francisco saying, no, there's this film called Following, and there was no one saw it, but he wasn't thinking about that film. He was thinking about his next film called Memento. So when that film went to Sundance or Slamdance, people would talk to him, and this is what happens after you make your first film. They would say, okay, pretty cool film, what do you have? I have this film, Memento. He said, because I know his production designer, he said he worked his ass off raising money for Memento, and really Following was just that litmus test, was that sort of example of what he could do. With a little more money, he could do more. So he had that, and he had a budget for Memento. And I think that you have to be strategic in that.
Let me add on to that Dante said, but it's not that you just have a camera and free editing equipment, but there is off-the-shelf computer graphics for your sci-fi story. I just talked to a company that will license out their car footage so that you can have on a stage a car and you'll have Paris or New York in the background. And then also here in Southern California, you have the beach, you have the forest, and you have the desert, which are three great locations to tell a story in different ways. So the tools are there. There's no excuse. And I would just say, start with short films. Take a short film, 10-minute short film, challenge yourself. Stretch yourself, and just get that creative bone, that creative muscle flexing.
And before we're going to go through some questions too, so feel free to line up or however we're doing questions. Are we doing questions with we'll do questions with the microphone here. You can just come to the front. Real quick, John Waters, one of my favorite quotes from him, one of my favorite filmmakers, he said, if you try to make a bad movie, you can't fail. You will succeed in making a bad movie. But there's some other truths that I learned, mainly from spending a lot of time in this industry. And it was interesting. I had a manager once who was awful, no longer with that person, who told me that basically the Hollywood mainstream film industry is a hobby for rich people. And I didn't really understand it at the time, and it sunk in when I would go to Sundance and I would see a filmmaker like Kevin Smith who sold his comic book collection, charged credit cards, and made that movie Clerks that we all know about, right? That's how Kevin started his career. And I naively thought at the time that every filmmaker was like that. Little did I know and learned years later that most of the people that are at these high-end film festivals are the sons and daughters of the rich, who are going off making these films and through relationships able to promote them. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't be the next Kevin Smith, so I'm going to throw out a bunch of pieces of advice, starting with something that Mark Duplass said at the 2016 South by Southwest Film Festival in the keynote speech. Go look it up on YouTube, watch that speech. He said, the cavalry isn't coming. No one is going to help you. You're going to get no help. Don't have an expectation that you're going to make the movie, take it to Sundance, and sell it to a big company for a big check. That doesn't happen anymore. That model doesn't exist. That model's broken. And if you're an independent filmmaker, prepare for struggle. That's the day in, day out of being an independent filmmaker. But I'm going to throw out some resources. One, you can reach out to me to get that crowdfund document. The second thing, and people don't think about this at the beginning, but you should always think about this at the beginning, because you're not just making the movie, you're creating the assets for all of your marketing, okay? Which is photos of your cast, photos of people in the film, because I guarantee when you wrap your movie, your actors are gonna have a different haircut, or a different, like, they might grow a beard for the next movie. You're not gonna be able to get them back to do photography for the film. That's an important part of it. Poster, huge important part of it. You should probably not pay more than $500 or $1,000 for a poster. I can also send you information about that for some poster designers. We did the poster for my film. I would also recommend that you consider a hybrid version of self-distribution, okay? There are two companies I recommend that do this. Most of the deals that you'll be offered for your independent film from some companies that I won't name are going to be awful. They might offer you a $3,000 advance and maybe 30% of the net revenue. You will get nothing. So here are two resources right now. One is called Indie Rights. You can go to indierights.com. Their distribution contact is on the website, contract. You can look at their contract, and they've got a list of deliverables and you can submit to them, okay? My film is distributed on video on demand through Indie Rights. They hold the worldwide rights for 3 years for video on demand, all territories. I own the Blu-ray rights. I held on to Blu-ray and theatrical for myself. There's another company called Film Hub. I recommend Film Hub. Now, what do? Same thing as Indie Rights. They'll put your film on iTunes, Vudu, etc. You have to reach certain like technological specifications, right? But if you do, both Indie Rights and Film Hub, which are companies I'm recommending for distribution for your movie, 80-20 split. The filmmaker gets 80%, they get 20%. 20% I think is a fair amount to give up for them releasing your film. So I recommend those companies because it is the maximum you're going to get as a filmmaker. And in particular, Indie Rights publishes all of their profits. I'm trying to think of something funny to say because I sound so serious. But they publish the amount of revenue that every movie that they distribute makes on a spreadsheet in their private Facebook group. So I have been through the distribution game. I have talked to all these distributors. They are, for the most part, all criminal. There are the short number of companies this, or you can do what Eric July did, you can build the machine, which he spent 7 years and $300,000 of your own money, if I understand correctly.
No, that's correct. I spent almost $300,000 to get everything off the ground. You can't just grow that on the tree.
Exactly. So if you watch Film Thread on YouTube, Alan and I every week, and Dante is a recurring guest, I'm gonna tell you the truth, it's not always fun, but if you can work out the economics to make a movie for a certain amount, you can, with self-distribution, those two companies, and there may be others, I suggest that you date around when it comes to distributors, okay? But those are two I would recommend, and that's a place to begin, and you can tell them I sent you. Now I want to go to questions from the audience here to spend the second half. You've got like, what, 20, 30 minutes left? I don't know. You'll let me know. You can hold up the signs. But let's go to questions from the audience because I genuinely care about building a new age of indie filmmakers. We saw it happen in the 90s. We need another revolution of talented indie filmmakers that are vetted by the marketplace. Because I feel like what the marketplace is saying about Hollywood now is we don't like a lot of your shit. So we need some new shit. Fuck, I just saw this thing on the back. I thought it was I'm the one that ended up swearing. So questions from the audience, raise your hand. We got us for about 20 more minutes here. Let's go with you in the front row. Real loud so everyone can hear. Yeah, please.
First of all, shameless self.
We need another revolution of talented indie filmmakers that are vetted by the marketplace. Because I feel like what the marketplace is saying about Hollywood now is we don't like a lot of your shit. So we need some new shit. Fuck, I just saw this thing on the back.